And then the final program that I put together was designed to be a much smaller scale program, a more intimate program. It was not going to be in a huge hall. And I decided to base it on one large scale cycle. And I ended up deciding to do the Thompson Frostiana cycle, which was written in 1959, which is a very famous cycle. And most people know a couple of the movements of it, but not many people hear or have performed all of them. And I think that it's a really intriguing idea to sort of present it as he originally conceived it, with all 7 movements. Piano accompaniment for that, no solos. And then I thought, well, what can we do with that? It was hard struggle to try and find the right balance to the other side of that program. I also didn't want the program to be really long. I wanted it to be kind of a digestible hour-ish minute, of music, which, if you think about the length of a normal program, is about 80 minutes of music plus a 20-minute intermission. So we were going to be doing a no intermission, hour-long program. And after struggling quite a bit with what to put with the Thompson, I hit upon the idea of using some of the Schubert part songs, which explored all kinds of different combinations. Schubert was really intrigued by playing around with different combinations of voices, instruments, lots with piano alone, but some with small instrumental ensembles, male chorus, female chorus, mixed chorus, some with solo, some without solo. And the idea then came to sort of use one of his very late, this was written in 1828, so it's the very, very end of his life, large-scale kind of scenic works for chorus, Miriam's Siegesgesang, which has a soprano solo, but it's piano accompaniment. He later orchestrated it because a publisher said, oh, you really should orchestrate it. But then the original version of this is just the piano accompaniment. So I thought, that might be great. That's 18 minutes. That if I use other Schubert part songs that have either focus on male chorus or female chorus, that begins to echo the idea of what Thompson does in the complete Frostiano cycle, which is that only 2 of the bookending works, the ones that most people know, Choose Something Like a Star at the end or Road Not Taken at the beginning, are the only ones that are really for full mixed chorus. The other movements are either for male chorus, female chorus, or the middle movement, which is for divided male and divided female chorus. So I thought, if I was to echo the Schubert, which has the soprano solo piano, but mixed chorus, with one of the great Schubert female chorus part songs and one of the great Schubert male chorus part songs, that would begin to kind of echo the idea forward into the Thompson about a century later, that really holds the kind of the glue of it together, using essentially secular poetry. I mean, while the Miriam Siegesgesang is talking about the story of the Exodus, and is the Canticle of Miriam essentially, it's not the biblical text. It's done by Franz Grillparzer as a kind of contemporary secular poetic version of it. So it really allowed us to sort of explore the idea of secular texts. The one, if you will, sacred text that there is Psalm 23, but that's even translated into German. So there's a little bit of liberty taken with it depends on which version, of course, you're using. There's all sorts of translations of the Psalms. But this, I think, allows us to explore the idea of secular poetry, the response by the composers to great poetry. It sort of echoes forward to our work in February with the Tekeli, which has poetry of David St. John. So it's this wonderful poetry that is very evocative, and the composer responds to in a beautiful way. The Henry Newbolt poetry for the Songs of the Fleet also works in that way. So I think it begins to kind of pull all sorts of what seemingly disparate threads together to make a coherent whole, even if one doesn't immediately realize that these are sort of constructed in such a way that they both reflect on each other and yet are separate, but have their own internal connections as well as their external. I like to think of it as intra-connection and interconnections between the programming for the season.